On Saturn, I'm sure you've seen that image that is on Saturn. Let's take a quick look at it, and we're gonna dig a little bit into this. This is from Saturn, NASA, and you can see the outline of it here. But there's an image from the south, which is more like an eye, and then this one. It's a 3D cube, and we're going to discuss why this is happening. You can see right there, that image is showing it in motion. Now, when it comes to cymatics, where frequency, you can see frequency because of particles in the air. And we're going to look at that real quick. This, you can see, you have the shape, the octagon, you have the cube, the 3D hexagon, apologize, inside, and we can see here a lot of emphasis on the cube. What are cymatics? Cymatics pretty much is what you see. It's sand particles that can be formed, and they form in different shapes depending on the frequency. Let's take a quick look at it.
The first experiment for the cymatics music video is called a Chladni plate. Now, Chladni plate's basically a metal plate attached to the top of the speaker. There's sand on top of the plate, and you play different tones through the speaker. The plate vibrates, which forms different shapes depending on the frequency of the sound.
Now we have a basic understanding of what cymatics are. Now, the book Ringmakers of Saturn, which we covered here on the channel, by Norman Bergrun. He speaks. He's an ex-NASA scientist who didn't get any love for his discovery, for obvious reasons. But he discovered that there were multiple ships either creating or manipulating the rings of Saturn. Now, it makes sense if they were emitting a frequency, and now it's affecting Saturn, and now it's forming a shape, just like cymatics on a Chladni plate. We can see here the origination of the plate here. Let's play this quick video. So what's going on? What's the focus on this cube? What's happening? We can see here the shapes that can be found on Saturn. Well, it's the frequency that's being emitted out from the area of the rings, and it's then redirected and amplified from the moon onto Earth, causing a prison, so to speak, a frequency prison. It's hard to raise your frequency when you are bombarded with this frequency, this 3D matrix frequency. You can see here the difference between the North Pole on Saturn and the South Pole on Saturn. And before we get into the reasonings to why, we have here at the bottom, that's the South Pole. You can see the eye of Saturn, the Saturn South Pole vortex. Eye is 2/3 diameter of Earth's. Interesting how you have an all-seeing eye of sorts on the South Pole of Saturn. What is going on with this Saturn worship? And once you start to research the occult, you start to see the lore that that they have to Saturn. It's right here. It says, named for God Saturn, planet Saturn's hexagon in 3D reveals a cube, esoteric symbol, the cube of Saturn, the Satan. In Egyptian myth, God Saturn married his sister. You see, it goes on and starts naming all these different deities. But when you research these accounts and you start going into information that is very old cuneiform information, even papyrus and whatnot, you start to realize that these entities are not always a person. Sometimes it's a group of people or a group of people from a different era. So a group of people can be called a name, and then when an era changes or when the control changes, they change the name of the group, or the group actually may mean something else. So in deciphering this information, we have to keep that in mind. So how does that apply to Saturn? This video is getting a little bit too long, so I'm gonna make a part two, and I need to mention that all of this is just for fun. Do not take my word for it, because this is all fake. This is not real. Unfortunately, I've had my account banned in the past, shut down. I've had to start over. Numerous videos taken down. So I unfortunately need to play the game and say this. This is for fun. This is not real. But do your own research. I take this information very seriously. Do your own research into the occult, and you'll find the same results as I did. We're going to make a part two. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I have to say this. If not, this video will be taken down. This is just for fun. This is not real. This is fake. This is that we have to play the game, unfortunately, right? We got to so the algorithm picks that up, and they don't take down the video.